Action Pack 9, 9th grade, Student's Book. Model 4. If you are happy, write about it. In this unit, you will be able to listen to a specialist talking about the origin of writing, predict the meaning of new vocabulary items, read about different ways of writing in the present and past, write down conditions using the first conditional, take part in a debate about sending letters or emails, talk about communicating without speech or writing, write proverbs about communication in either English or Arabic. Before you start, look at the photos. Do you know any languages that use these alphabets? In which countries are these languages used? يوجد لدينا صورة في بداية الوحدة عليها عبارات مكتوبة في عدة لغات مختلفة، منها اللغة العربية ومنها اللغة الفرنسية واللغة الإنجليزية واللغة الإسبانية واللغة الألمانية وأشكال باللغة الصينية، الأحرف الصينية، وهناك أشكال ورسومات منحوتة ترمز إلى عبارة. First, the writing and communication part. Reading. Read the text. Which came first? The alphabet, hieroglyphics, or cave paintings? How do you think people will communicate in 20 years' time? Now, number 2. Listen to the words below in context and try to guess their meanings. I am going to help you to guess the meaning of each word. Now, let's start with clay. Clay is a soft, sticky type of earth that is used for making pottery or brick. The word government. It means the people who rule a country or state. The word suitable. The right or appropriate for a particular purpose, person, or occasion. The word light means easy to lift or carry and having a little weight. The word portable. It means easily moved from one place to another. The word papyrus. It means a kind of paper used in ancient Egypt. The word messenger. It means a person who carries letters or information from one place to another. The word collapse means to fail suddenly and completely. The word private, it means owned by citizens and not by government. I will start reading the text now. The title is A Short History of Written Communication. When people talk about the most important developments of civilization, they usually mention writing Writing makes it possible for people to send messages over long distances and across time. Imagine living on Earth 30,000 years ago. If you are good at drawing, you will cover the walls of your cave with paintings of your hands. If you are a good hunter, you will draw the animals you've hunted to show people. Such drawings are among the earliest examples of writing. Thousands of years pass, and writing moves from drawings to hieroglyphics and then alphabets. And as written language develops, people realize they can communicate with other people further away. They want to send letters, but if you want to send a letter, you should use a postal service. The earliest example of a postal service was found in ancient Egypt. A clay letter nearly 4,000 years old. The first government postal service began in China about 3,000 years ago, but people still needed something suitable to write on. Then, 2,500 years ago, the Egyptians discovered a light, portable writing material, papyrus. Soon afterwards, messengers on foot or horseback carried messages in Egypt and China. During the reign of Augustus Caesar, 27 before century until 14 Common Era, the Romans organized Europe's first postal service. But after the Roman Empire collapsed, the service stopped. In the late Middle Ages, private postal system carried personal and business mail. People still send letters today, but if they want others to get their news right away, they send an email. Now, part 3. After reading the text, you need to answer the following questions. Question number 1. How do you think cave paintings helped us understand the lifestyle of the civilization in the past? Question number 2. In your opinion, how did the post office help people in the 60s communicate better? What's the role of the post office nowadays? Now, we are going to move to the grammar part. First, conditional. We use the first conditional to talk about a possible result which depends on a possible condition. For example, if I want to send them a letter, I will write on a clay tablets. We use the first conditional if plus present simple plus the rest of the sentence plus future simple to express that both the condition and the result will take place in the future. Another example. If you read this article, you will want to know more about this subject? We use the first conditional if plus present simple plus the rest of the sentence plus may plus infinitive to express that we are not sure if something will happen or not, even if the condition is fulfilled. For example, if you are a caveman that is good at drawing, you may decide to cover the walls of your cave with paintings of your hands. Now, the main clause can have other modal verbs such as can, must, have to, and should. For example, if you want to send a letter, you should use a postal service. The if clause can precede or follow the main clause. When the if clause follows the main clause, there is no comma separating the two parts of the sentence. For example, I will play football this weekend if I don't have any homework. Part 1 in the grammar. Match the sentence beginnings, sentence 1 to 4, with their endings from part A to D. Then write them down in your notebook. Now, I'm going to tell you the sentences first. Sentence number 1. If you want to know more about communication by writing, A. You may decide to cover the walls of your cave with paintings of your hands. B. You should use a postal service. Or C. You should read this short history of writing. Or D. You will want to know more about this subject. Now, sentence number 2. If you read this article, A. You may decide to cover the walls of your cave with paintings of your hands. B. You should use a postal service. C. You should read this short history of writing. D. You will want to know more about this subject. Sentence number 3. If you are a caveman that is good at drawing, A. You may decide to cover the walls of your cave with paintings of your hands. B. You should use a postal service. C. You should read this short history of writing. Or D. You will want to know more about this subject. Sentence number 4. If you want to send a letter, A. You may decide to cover the walls of your cave with paintings of your hands. B. You should use a postal service. C. You should read this short history of writing. Or D. You will want to know more about this subject. Part 3. Complete the statements and questions using the correct form of the verbs in brackets. The first one is done for you. Number 1. What between bracket you/do if it between bracket rain tomorrow? The correct answer is, what will you do if it rains tomorrow? Now do the same for the rest. Number 2, if you, between bracket, want to learn Chinese, you, between bracket, have to study hard. Number 3, between bracket, you/help me with my French homework if I, between bracket, help you with the dishes. Number 4, my sister, between bracket, not go to the theater with us if she, between bracket, not finish her English homework. Number 5, dad, between bracket, tell us where to find this information if we, between bracket, phone him. Number 6, if you, between bracket, hurry up, you, between bracket, get to the post office before they close. Part 4. Read the story below. Work in groups to make conditional sentences about the story. I will start reading the story now. Omar is a very hard-working student and he loves going to school. However, one of his classmates sitting next to him keeps bothering him and can't let him focus in class. Omar's grades begin to drop and his parents are not happy with his performance anymore. One day, Omar decides to send an email to the headmaster explaining the situation so that his classmate stops bothering him. What do you think will happen if Omar sends the email? What if he doesn't send it? Now, there are 2 examples on how to make conditional sentences about this story. Example number 1. If Omar sends the email, the headmaster will change Omar's place in the classroom. Example number 2. If Omar doesn't send the email, his grades will keep on dropping. Part 5. Make a chain of 5 conditional sentences using one of the beginnings as your starting point. Example: if I study hard, I will get into university. If I get into university, I will study hard. If I study hard, I will get a degree. If I get a degree, my parents will be very happy. If my parents are very happy, I will be happy too. Now, chain number 1. If I study hard, you have to continue. Number 2. If it doesn't rain tomorrow. Number 3. If I convince my parents. Read the speaking strategies. Speaking strategies, responding in discussions. Listen carefully to each other when working in pairs to make the discussion more effective. A good way to show that you are listening carefully is to respond to what your partner is saying. This can be by asking a relevant question or saying something like, "Oh, really? I agree," or "Me too." You can also use facial expressions like gestures, eye contact, and nodding. Now, part 7. Work in pairs. Ask and answer the questions about your day tomorrow, following the speaking strategies. Number 1. How will you feel if you have an exam? Number 2. What will you do if you want too much homework? Number 3. What will happen if you go to bed too late? Number 4. What will you do if you can't get to sleep at night? Part 8. In pairs, complete the table with conditional phrases. There is a conditional phrase, and you are going to complete one part, and your partner can complete a different part. Conditional phrase 1. I will play football this weekend if. You are going to answer, for example, if I don't have any homework. Your partner can answer differently. I will play football this weekend if the weather is good. Now, conditional phrase 2. I will go to the public library tomorrow if. Number 3. If I listen to my parents. Now, part 9. In a group, have a debate about sending letters or emails based on the statement, it is a waste of paper and money to send someone a letter, not an email. Use expressions like the ones on page 7, exercise 7, as well as other expressions like what if, I'd agree with you, if you are talking about blah blah blah, then to agree or disagree.